Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mr. Lawrence Kelechi, and I'm a father to two amazing children. Prior to when I met Dr. Vivian, my parenting experience was a struggle. I struggled as a parent. It was overwhelming, something I had not done before, had a vague knowledge about. All I knew was how I was being trained. That was just all I had. I had a lot of disconnect with my son as at the time. I never understood how children communicate. So whenever my son throw tantrums, whenever he cries excessively, and all, I just get so overwhelmed. A lot of times I'll have to spank him, I'll have to shout at him, I'll have to walk out of the room when I feel that the excessive crying was disturbing. Regrettably, I had to do all of that. I had a lot of fear if I was going to be a good dad, if I was going to be a great dad. I wasn't patient with my son at the time. All right. A lot of time he cries a lot. And then does some things that made me feel that he had anger issues. Not until when I met Dr. Vivian, a friend of mine introduced me to Dr. Vivian, and then I became a part of the Parenting with Calm community. And then I attended Dr. Vivian's weekly trainings. That was just the game changer for me. I had a lot of eureka moments. I got to understand how to communicate with my son. I got to understand how these children try to express their feelings. Sometimes they do it through crying, through throwing tantrums and all. And then I had to understand how to handle those moments. Those fears are gone just because I met Dr. Vivian, and then I got to learn these simple, basic things. Today, I have this amazing bond with my children. It's so amazing. It's obvious. People tell me, wow, that the connection with your children is just so amazing. It started after I became a part of this great community. And apart from what I have learned so far from the trainings and all, being a part of a community where a lot of parents are sharing their experience per time, the best thing that happened to me in 2024 as a parent is meeting Dr. Vivian and becoming a part of the Parenting with Calm community. I want to say a very big thank you to you, Dr. Vivian. You're such an amazing person, always open to hear us when we chat you up. When we want to share our experience, you're always there. You're not judgmental. You just know how to handle every situation once we share them with you. And I'm so glad that I'm a part of the Parenting with Calm community. I want to advise parents here who are not yet part of the Parenting with Calm community that please, this is the best thing that can happen to you in this parenting journey. Be a part of the community, and I bet you, you're not going to regret it.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the grand finale. Welcome, Benga, Ezekiel. Welcome. Let us know where you're joining from in the chat. Just say hello and let us know where you're joining from. This is the grand finale, the last, not the least. The best was saved for the last, right? So if you know anyone who is supposed to be here, just invite them. Share the links with your friends, with your family, with your old school girls association, even with your enemies. You want everyone around you to be raising their children very well. Welcome, David, joining from Abuja. Benga Ezekiel joining from Ondo State. So today, the first session we're having is on raising mentally strong girls, right? And this is a very, very interesting topic. Yesterday, we talked about raising mentally strong boys. And you might be wondering why we're separating the genders. And that is because mental strength in boys and girls and parenting boys and girls it has to do with different approaches, right? There is a way to raise a boy, especially in the context of an African society where boys are conditioned to be a certain type of way and girls are conditioned to be a certain type of way. So in today's conversation, we're thinking about what does it really mean to raise a wholesome, mentally strong girl who will thrive in the society that we are in. Not just who will survive, not just who will navigate, not just who will blend in, but a girl who has a mind of her own, a girl who is a thinking girl, and a girl who will thrive and fulfill their purpose. If you have been in our community for long enough, you would have heard me say that the metrics for measuring success in your parenting is that at the end of the day, that by the time your child is leaving your presence or your home into the world, that they have a strong sense of self, a strong sense of self leadership and self awareness, and they are aligned to their purpose. They are aligned to that which God made them for in the world, right? So, helping us with this conversation is one of my best girls. She's my sister and friend, and she is like the Raising Girls Mama, right? If you haven't heard about Raising Girls NG on Instagram, please, you need to, well, let me just leave you to find out for yourself, right? Please, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're on the chat, help me and give a resounding warm welcome to Irene Bangwell as she joins us to do justice to this topic, to teach us and to show us how we can raise mentally strong girls. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. It's an
Thank
honor.
you, sis. Yeah.
It's such an honor for me to be here, especially because I want to talk about something that you supported me with. So
Thank you.
today's conversation is a conversation that I have enjoyed support from you, to become that mentally strong girl myself. So I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you for
Thank you,
having
sis.
me. And
So,
congratulations on the Parent Summit Africa 2024.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been an amazing session back to back. So I'll leave you. I'll leave
Yeah,
you to do your thing and just
thank you. All right, people, thank you so very much for coming out tonight. If you know someone raising girls, this is a place for them to be tonight. My name is Irene Bangwell. I'm a girls coach. I'm very passionate about raising wholesome girls. I'm known for running a community for girls called the 10 over 10 Girls Squad and hosting Body Smart Girl Bootcamp every holiday for girls aged 3 to 17. So when I was asked to have this conversation, I thought it was a super important conversation to have, especially because Irene Bangwell was not always a mentally strong girl. In fact, my children call me a softie. And so, but over the years, I realized that a softie being someone that can easily cry, somebody that is very high in empathy and feels very deeply. There were times I used to think that softies are not mentally strong girls, but softies can be mentally strong girls, and I'm one of those people. So, my session today, I want to walk us through a number of things. Let me move to the next slide. I want to walk us through what it means to be mentally strong, what it means to be resilient, and the three principles that I have that we can use to measure whether our girls are mentally strong or not. When I'm done running through this, I'm going to walk with us through 8 by 8 situations that will demand for our girls to be mentally strong and what we can do to help them in those moments. So if you can hear me, I'd like to see comments. Tell me if you can hear me clearly. Tell me what you've heard. Thank you so much, Onye. Thank you so much joining in from Yoruba. That's amazing. Hey, Adobe. Thank you so much for being here. How are you doing, sis? Thank you so much, Yvonne. Thank you for joining in from Abuja here. It's exciting to be here. Welcome, Kayode. Oh, good to know. Oh, amazing. Thank you, Rebecca, for joining in from Benin City. So we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We're ready, ready, ready to go. So when I was given this topic, like I mentioned earlier, I was very intrigued and very connected because I don't think I've always been a mentally strong girl. I know that I've not always been a mentally strong girl. Pressure used to core me. And I want to put it this way. I found that what people said had a whole lot of impact on me. And I grew up being someone that what people said impacted on me a lot. And sometimes what people insinuated, how you watch people's gesture, how you do this, how you watch what someone did, and all of a sudden you're depleted. Let me give you an example. If I walked into a crowd and someone hugged somebody very, generously, and when he came to me, it was like, hi, once and left, I would not consider whether the person was distracted. I would not consider the person's state of mind. I would not consider the relationship the person has with the other person, which may be different from what they have with me. I'll just generally have a bad day that I wasn't really loved. And this came from a particular origin for me. I grew up with my single mom and I've never met my dad. And so while growing up, I was that girl that always waited for her dad to come. I always felt that I was rejected by my dad. And so there was always that thing of every time someone told me no or someone didn't receive me warmly, I felt rejected all over again. And so that really broke me down. 2016, I had the privilege of attending a training by Innocent Tusa that spoke here on Friday. Innocent Tusa had a training called the Neurolinguistics Programming, and I signed up for that class, and it was my first light bulb moment, and the transformation began for me. I started learning a whole lot of things. Today, I'm going to be distilling bits and pieces of that learning for you so that your daughter doesn't need to go through the journey that I went through. I was blessed by having friends who had knowledge and insights in psychology, who were able to tell me when some of my responses and reactions and deductions were coming from a traumatic place, and that just helped me heal. So to start today, I want to know whether you've heard anything from what I've said thus far. Tell me one thing you've heard in my introduction. I just want to make sure that people are following me and I'm not speaking very too fast. I tend to speak really fast. Hey, Mama, these are Mama Kanayo. These are the people that have been believing in me and trusting their girls to me for the last what? How many months and years? So you can hear me clearly. Fantastic. So I'm going to start out today talking about what it means to be mentally strong. And I had to bring in a twist to it, what it means to be resilient. What happened is when I started researching and putting down my notes, I realized that at first I was thinking about resilience alone. And then I realized that resilience was different from being mentally strong. And I just want to talk about both of them. So the first thing I want to say here is when you're talking about someone being mentally strong, what you're really saying is someone who can manage their emotions, someone who can manage their thoughts, someone who can manage their behavior to get a better outcome. Let me give you a typical scenario. So let's say you have a child that is in, say, JSS3, and there's a senior in SS2 who speaks to them publicly disrespectfully, or who speaks to them in a way that they don't think they feel embarrassed about. Mentally strong is the ability to go through that emotion and still be able to regulate yourself and make a responsible decision so you get a desirable outcome. For example, the child who's been in JS3 that is embarrassed by a senior has two alternatives. The first alternative is to lash back. And lashing back could mean, oh, you disrespected a senior, generated attention, da 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 da. The second could mean, I'm going to wait through this and I'm going to report after the meeting. So the mentally strong person is not reactive. The mentally strong person is responsive. So responsive means the child, in spite of what they're feeling, can step back and think through their feelings so that they make a decision that gives them a desired result. If the child is reactive, every time someone did something, reactive all the time, what happens is they are not able to think through what they desire. They just become victims of different consequences here and there. So a mentally strong person, remember, your mentally strong daughter is one who has been upskilled to manage her emotions, manage her thoughts, and her behavior, because they are all connected. I teach the girls on my program that emotions don't give us direction, emotions give us information. So let's say that girl is that is in JSS3, the example I'm using. Emotion tells the child that they are embarrassed. That's the first step. So emotion tells the child that they are embarrassed. Now, the next thing is to take charge of their thoughts, because from embarrassed, because of the shame they feel, thoughts that could come in could be insult her, shout, cry, have an outburst, just to show that I'm going through this emotion. But the other one could be like, what she did to me is wrong. I'm going to report to someone so that she can take correction, so that she doesn't do this again. So the child has gone from taking information from that emotion, I feel embarrassed, has learned how to manage their thoughts within the space of whatever occasion is going on, to determine that this is the outcome I want. That means a mentally strong child is a child that is clear about their outcomes. One of the things I teach girls is when you're having a disagreement, think about what you want to see and tell the person that that's what you want. For example, if one of my daughters said, "Mommy, she keeps taking my pencil without returning. She keeps taking my pencil without returning." I say, "So what do you want to see?" "I want her to return my pencil." I say, "Now turn around and tell her, if you don't return this pencil, I won't give it to you. I will never give you my pencil again. If you want me to give you my pencil another time, after using it, sharpen it and put it back here." Stop sulking about your disappointment and emotions. Tell people what you want them to do. So that's the first step for me. A mentally strong person can beat past the emotion. They don't overlook the emotion. They feel the emotion and they allow the emotion inform them about what they are upset about. But in that moment, they also have been trained and skilled to be able to say, "I feel this way about this experience, but this is what I desire, and I'm going to work towards what I desire." So the mentally strong person moves forward to what they desire, but the child that is not mentally strong sticks with what has happened, stays in the reactive mood all the time. So, yeah, that's what it is for mentally strong. I want to hear what you've heard so far in that example I just gave about being mentally strong. A mentally strong child works towards the desired future. A child that is not mentally strong is stuck up in what happened. "You did this to me, you did that to me, you did this to me, you did that to me." And the goal is to say, "Girl, you feel this way, this happened, this hurt you, what do you want to see?" Now, whatever you want to see, open your mouth, communicate it. Be assertive and communicate it. All right, we want to hear you. Your self description is, "My daughter, so full of empathy and cries easily." So now, even though she's full of empathy and easily cries, we need to build her capacity to beat past the emotion so that she can say what she desires and she can learn to be assertive. So a mentally strong girl is an assertive girl. A mentally strong child is an assertive child. So Itoha said, an emotionally strong child is responsive, not reactive to situation. They feel the emotion and they respond in a desired manner. They respond in a manner that gives them what they want to see. So you have an older sister that every time she shares food, she shares it unfairly. A mentally strong child looks and says, "What you did is not right. Oh, let's go to mommy and let mommy determine whether the way you shared it is okay." She has moved. The other one says, "I'm not eating again. I'm not eating again. I'm not eating again. This is what you always do. This is what you always do." And many times children don't do that because they're not capable of being mentally strong. They do that because we have not taught them to be mentally strong. We've not taught them to be mentally strong. All right. So let's move on to resilience. I see people are following. A mentally strong child works towards the desired future. Fantastic. So let's talk about being resilient. So what about resilience? Resilience here means bounce back. Man, resilience means bounce back. And I don't think I can talk about being a mentally strong girl without talking about resilience, because for the resilience part is that the child will encounter adversity that have the capacity to pull them back, including self-imposed that is, adversity that they created for themselves. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, adapt from adversity, trauma, and get back on course. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a child that watched pornography, right? Sometimes with mentally strong, I like to think about it from the perspective of they're responding to the world. Things are happening. Other people are doing things to them, right? But with resilience, it's both a combination of what other people do to you, but much more than that, your own personal failures, the actions that you take. A resilient child that went and watched porn feels terrible about their actions, but terrible is not always remorse. If mentally strong as they should be, they can take responsibility. I made this wrong decision. I need help. I need my device taken away from me so that I can recover. They are able to see that taking away their device is not punishment. They're able to see that you're building me up. This process is to build me up. They put their eye on who they can become in spite of the failure. A child that is not resilient labels themselves, "This is who I am, I cannot be a better person." A resilient child says, "No, I can be a better person. There's a pathway, there are things that I need to do, and I'm going to ultimately become better." Part of why I brought in the resilience point is because so many parents think that their children are supposed to have perfect lives. All right. So many children think that their children are supposed to have perfect lives. But the truth of the matter is that life is a sum total of all the choices we make, good, bad, and otherwise. And an essential skill we're supposed to impact on our children is teaching them how to overcome failure, especially self induced failure, especially failure that they can see what they contributed. But so many of us can't teach it because we make our children feel that mistakes are the end of their existence, which should not be the case. It should not be the case. Mistakes are not the end of their existence. Mistakes offer them the opportunity to learn more about themselves, to see where they missed it, to see how life works, and to also see a clear pathway to making better decisions. To see even the consequences and setbacks that their mistakes have cost them, so that even looking at what they've lost can motivate them to get back there, believing with the idea that they can do better. There's something in them that pulls for better, and then they work towards it. So, being mentally strong says, I'm in a situation, I'm going to regulate my emotions, I'm going to regulate my thoughts, and I'm going to work out a pathway to get a positive outcome. But being resilient said, I messed up, but I'm going to regulate the thought of shame. I'm going to see that, yeah, I have embarrassed my parents, I've embarrassed myself, but I can be a better person. And so I'm going to embrace the thoughts that point me to things that I can do to be better. And I'm not going to become better because I want to please my parents. I want to become better because this mistake I made cost me something of value. Yes, it cost me my parents' trust, yes, but I'm losing other things as well in the process. And so I'm going to become a better person for me. In summary, mentally strong children can think through the situations they find themselves in. Mentally strong children can think through the situations that they find themselves in. So I want to share 3 ingredients that helps children, you know, build this mentally strong skills and the resilience culture, right? The whole thing is they can think through their situations. They can think through their situations. So Bridget said mistakes are not the end of the existence of any child who has made the mistake. I mean, as a mother, I made a mistake this week, right? So why am I, in fact, some of us, the way we respond to the mistakes our children make is the reason why they cannot be mentally strong, because we've indirectly taught them that mistakes are the end of the road. So bounce back possibility is not there. They now label themselves and say, oh, this is who I am and that is who I am, and that becomes a problem. All right. So let me move very quickly to 3 things I know always makes a difference in the life of anybody that wants to be mentally strong and be resilient. The first thing is self-awareness. Self-awareness. God bless the day I came across this concept many years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, when I started doing my work with girls and even teenagers in general at the time. I was looking for that thing that they were like a build up to self-esteem. Yeah. So in my framework where I teach self-esteem is a combination of self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-respect. Now, children that have high self-esteem are more likely to demonstrate mental strength and resilience. Children that have no self-esteem break down, that are reactive, they don't have a self-concept, they don't have an identity concept. So whatever situations they find themselves toss them. When they make mistakes, they're tossed. When somebody challenges them, they're tossed. When they face adversity, they're tossed because they don't have strong self-esteem. So if your daughter has strong self-awareness, self-acceptance, and strong self-respect culture, what you're looking at is a human that is very likely, or that is prepared, or that already has the skills to express mental strength and resilience. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is, in a nutshell, knowing yourself. Let me give you an example. Knowing yourself to the point that you know what you can do in different situations. You know, like Irene, I know myself. Let me give you an example. Every time my husband and I are driving to a location and we're using Google Map, I know that I'm going to get restless. Because sometimes I feel like you're going to miss this turn, you're going to miss this turn. I'm aware of myself. Now, because I'm aware of myself, I don't need to go and react to my husband then say sorry. All I need to now know that, oh, once the Google Map is on, I'm in my red zone. I can easily go off. When I'm looking for things, maybe I start looking for my keys, I'm looking for things. around me. I'm in my red zone. I'm just, I could explode any moment. Now, I don't know that thing so that when I explode, I excuse myself. No, I know that thing so that I regulate myself from exploding. So self-awareness is about raising your kids to know themselves, to know how they learn, to know things they don't like. Some of us are raising children that can't tell us what they prefer. So you cook jollof rice and fried rice, and your daughter can't tell you she doesn't connect with the jollof rice. Instead of telling her, do you know how many hours it took me to cook in the kitchen? Ask her, what do you not like about it? It could be texture, it could be taste, it could be that she doesn't really connect with tomato as it tastes. You know, I don't know if you understand me. Every time your child made a choice and you were able to sit through with them to find out exactly what it was, they became more self-aware. Our goal as parents is to make sure our daughters are self-aware, not to shut down their opinions. So you want to go for a party, and one of your daughters is so excited, she starts to pack a gift, and the other one is not enthusiastic. And you start to say, is it not this auntie that helped us that day? Why are you not responding? Why are you not excited about it? Instead of just finding out, princess, you don't seem so eager. So that she can say, mommy, I'm not sure. Every time people talk about party, I don't feel excited. I don't like seeing a lot of people. Those conversations drive self-awareness. You know what that does? If you're raising a daughter who, for instance, doesn't like social experiences, if she was a girl in JSS 3, coming into where an SS2 student was going to embarrass her, she's already aware that public spaces are a mess for me. So the moment that situation starts, she's ahead of the situation. She knows that she's about to implode. And so she can tell herself, no, wahala, I already knew. So she's prepared for the situation. That's mental strength. That's self-awareness. You're supposed to be excited about exploring your children's uniqueness, because as they find their uniqueness, gives them confidence about who they are, prepares them for situations. For example, if you have a child that is always about justice, then you should know when it's time to share food, she's extra alert to see what's going on. So if you teach her and say, princess, you have the tendency to always think that you're going to be cheated. Do you know what that can do to her? When she's about to raise an alarm, she'll remember that I have a way of always thinking that I'm going to be cheated. So let me just calm down. It might not be what I think it is. Or I may ask questions to clarify instead of starting out with reactions. As parents, what we enforce is values. But we have to show curiosity to know the makeup of our girls, the texture of their personality, how they want to come across, their fears, their insecurities. So self-awareness helps you understand that maybe speech and prize giving day, you may have a daughter that feels like, man, I never win any prizes, I'm not interested. And so you know that there may be something here. She may feel that other people are better than her. So then that's something to talk about. So self-awareness is such a beautiful thing. And the way we explore it as parents is by equipping our girls to discover themselves. I remember something exciting that happened. At the time it was happening, it wasn't exciting for me. I had my first daughter, and by the time she was three years old, she was reading. I mean, she was reading fluently. She was reading billboards, she was reading big words. And then, so we're doing good. Then she's 5, she's thriving, reading comfortably. Here's her younger sister. She didn't show the same enthusiasm to reading. I remember this one time, the school she was attending, they were using this book, Queen Premier. So every time I'll bring out the book to do homework with her, she would just start reading. But something shocked me. I didn't see her reading anything else outside of Queen Premier. So one day, as God would have it, as I was pulling out her book of Queen Premier, she started reading the page before I opened it. So I knew that she was memorizing. So quick, I went to this supermarket that is here in Abuja called Ebano. I just did a calculation. I said, my first thought I read early. What did we use? We used Leapfrog video. So I went bought a pack of Leapfrog CDs, came to play, and this child would not sit down to watch. It was really disturbing for me. And her school, they were just getting, and they were telling me, don't worry, she will get past it. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm a data person. If a child is not reading, something is wrong. Let's find out what it is, fix it from the root, and the earlier we do that, the better. So that's when it hit me. Said, Irene, this child is not a visual learner now. That's why she can't sit down and watch videos. So I started paying attention to her, and I discovered she was kinesthetic. And for kinesthetics, they learn by doing. So I said, okay, baby girl, we're making flashcards for you. I did these flashcards for her, and that day I was writing and creating the card. I'll give it to her. I'll cut it, give it to her to sound it, cut it, give it to her to sound it. And before you knew it, within one day practice or so, she started reading. Guess what? Before that time, my daughter felt that she wasn't as intelligent as her sister, and it was a problem for her. Do you know what the awareness that, oh, I learned differently? Do you know what it did to her? Magic. Self awareness is powerful. It helps a child to be resilient. A child goes through failure and they remember a strength they have, and it pushes them back up again. The second ingredient is self acceptance. A child can become aware of themselves from, if the way they find themselves is when they make mistakes. You're so careless, you're forgetful. If that's the way what they become aware of, it can make them loathe themselves instead of accepting themselves. So as parents, we're supposed to show curiosity about their personality and then go ahead to show them the strength in that personality. So for example, my daughter that is kinesthetic, that loves to move, she's our happy place. When she's not feeling well, like the whole house is boring. So she needs to know that even though you tend to be restless all the time, you make the house fun. We enjoy you for that. So even when they make mistakes, look for the strength in that. Let me give you an example. I mentioned how every time Google Map and my husband were going somewhere, the chances of becoming restless is very high. But that's because I don't want us to miss our way. So it could be a sense of, a sense of wanting to manage the situation. Can it be a negative thing? Yes, it can. But I've chosen to accept that, oh, this is a positive thing, but I need to respect the people around me so that it doesn't look like I don't trust their own judgment or only me knows everything. So now I take the feedback that, oh, this is care. There's a place of care in this weakness. But then I need to learn how to show respect to other people. So that is me navigating something that could lead to all kinds of complexities, right? So self-acceptance says, I'm finding the things that could be a problem, but here are the strengths. And in addition to that, for God's sake, we also should not be finding out only negative things. We should be finding out positive things. We should be finding out positive things. For instance, that my kinesthetic learner is more social than her older sister. She's the social butterfly. She cares deeply about people. I mean, I took them to go do a birthday party today. She has wrapped, she has knitted something, she's done some gift, and she's very spirited. She has worn boots. She's the energy, she's the life of the party. I can choose to focus on how easily she breaks stuff, misplaces stuff, and I can tell her that so that we take correction. But I also need to show her the strength of her personality so that it leads to self acceptance. So self-awareness is such a strong baseline for resilience. I know myself. I got this. Okay, this is why I missed it. I'm coming back. All right? You get the idea. Thank you so much, Auntie Bridget. Show curiosity to know and understand the texture. How did this human come? What is this human made of? Who is the adventurous one? Who is the risk averse one? So you help them see that. And also, like, being a child of God even makes it even more beautiful. I tell my daughters, you're the perfect mix for what God has called you to become. You're the awesome mix. So what mommy is here to do is to help you, manage the things that may undermine what God wants you to do while maximizing others. Even when they make mistakes, I appreciate the positive things, even in the weakness of those personalities. It helps them, get there. So let's talk about self-respect. Self-respect means I am worthy. I like people to type that. Raise a girl who believes that she's worthy, who believes that she's of value, who believes that she's important. That's the core ingredient, one of the core ingredients for mental strength and resilience. I am important. I have value. I have something to give. I made a mistake. I can do better. I made a mistake. I can rise up. I can be disciplined. I can learn. I can. It comes with a self-respect comes with saying, I deserve better and I have what it takes to work towards it. Self-respect means I deserve awesomeness and I'm going to work towards it. Self-respect means the child highly esteems who they are, their personality, their strength, the relationship that God has put in their lives. I mean, they see their parents' value on them. I mean, something happened this week. One of my daughters, I don't know what happened. She just came and met her dad in school that she's hungry. School had closed though. I was doing a meeting with Coach Vivian online, and her dad walks and said, finish your meeting. My daughter is hungry. She needs to go home. And I need you to take her home now. Do you know what it does to my daughter? I asked to go home, and daddy asked mommy to take me home. I'm important. Some of us are raising children in homes where they have no sense of importance. Only what mommy and daddy wants is important. My God, if your children think that is only what you want is important, she is never going to think that she's worth much. And that kind of child can never show mental strength or resilience. Now, this session would be perfect if I ended it here, but I wanted to walk you through different situations your daughters will find themselves in where they will need to show self awareness, self acceptance, self respect, so that they can demonstrate mental strength and resilience. And so I'm coming to where life will place a demand on them to show this. All right. So let me start with 0 to 5 years olds. All right. The first thing that is going to happen to your daughter age 0 to 5 is that she's going to leave home to go to school. She's going to go to crèche. And mental strength is part of the things that will be tested. If she's starting daycare, she's going to preschool, you're leaving her with a caregiver for the first time, right? She has to demonstrate mental strength there. But at that age, are you not the one that's supposed to give them the promise, give them comfort? If the child, the child has a favorite teddy bear at home, you bring it in. That is because you're aware of what the child responds to. Say, okay, you're going to school, go with your favorite teddy bear. Assure them, mommy will pick you up early. What do you want to do? What do you want for this? What do you want for that? They're going to be reluctant at the initial point, but after a while, they will adjust. But some children adjust faster than others. And some parents feel that the child that they turn their back on and say, I better go, will adjust faster. They can adjust faster with the mind of deprivation, or they can adjust faster with, my mom is coming for me soon. Two different things. Nobody cares. I could as well adjust, or, yeah, I'm going to make friends here. Mommy will come back to pick me anyway. Two different mindsets. Mental strength is the one that says, mommy will come back for me. The other one that I don't care, I can as well as adapt. It's not mental strength. So African parents think that the child is strong. It's not mental strength. It makes the child vulnerable. It makes the child look for attention. All right. The second thing is when children have injury. Some of us African parents say, get up, learn to do it by yourself. No, the child needs to be aware you fell. Mommy has seen it. We are aware of it. And we care about how you feel. And so we're showing care to the child. I fell down. I fell because of this stone. So next time I'm going to learn to be careful about that stone. Or I need to be careful about bumping into things. Mommy comforted me. Daddy comforted me. But they also showed me how I got there. They also showed me how I got there so that I don't make the same mistakes again. Now they assured me that they loved me when I was in pain. They didn't scream at me because I was crying. But at the same time, they showed me where I stumbled on, and they told me what not to do another time. So the next time that kind of thing happens, I feel sad, I am crying, but I note that I tripped again by this stone and I want to do better. Next time, I will not go by the stone, I'll go the other way. Are you following? So resilience is being demanded. When our children are asked to share and cooperate, some of us go, give your sister. Would you want to share this with your sister? No. Oh, you love cake so much and you want to take so much. But it's fun when we share with other people. They can tell us how the cake tastes better. This thing, when I remember when I was teaching my daughter, I say we share so that we have shared experiences. I say if only you ate the jollof rice, who is going to agree with you that whether it was nice or not? So when you share, you have somebody to banter with. So one time I came home, I don't know what I came home with. And my daughters wanted to share with me. Say, so that you have somebody to banter with about this thing, you better share with us. So what do? We, instead of imposing, we recognize that they have a right of choice. We share with them why it is important to share. So that another time when you're not there, they know what it means. You ask them, would you want someone to share with you? All right. We don't take it from them and cut it and give to the other person. We build them up by having them to cut it and give to the other person. If it's too small, we can say, do you want to make it a little bigger? Or we can pick another cake and share and show them what a fair sharing can look like. In the process, we're upskilling them. We're teaching them not to think about themselves alone. Telling them about fair sharing. We are not dragging them to the process. Mental strength is aware of their emotion. They are not reactive, they are responsive. There was a demand, so I responded by saying, I'm not ready to share this today. I will be able to share this tomorrow, something like that. But the other one that drags them into it is reactive. They didn't share, so you reacted. So we teach them how to respond. Sometimes our children will have a demand for mental strength when there's a change in their routine. Let's say you want them to go to bed early because you want them to wake up earlier. They may not want to go to bed at that time. It is wrong for you to let them have their way on those routine. It's better for you to lie down with them, talk to them calmly, but make sure the routine kicks in. Understand that they don't like it this way. So for instance, if I wanted my daughters to go to bed by 7 instead of 8, I might now, and I have older girls, so I would incentivize them and say, because we're doing something fun tomorrow. Now, and I've taken the time to explain, not just say, go and sleep by 7. Once I say something, is it? I help them understand the self-awareness part is they enjoy being up late. The activities they like to do before they go to bed. They're not happy about the disruption because they're humans. But now I have come to meet them at that point to say, I respect that you think differently, but this is what we are going to go with. So let's see those things that you like to do for fun. Which ones can come in today? Because I want us to do this routine. I have far more benefit for you. That negotiation, some African parents say, you're just being weak. Ask this child to do this, ask this child to do that. Well, I hope you notice that ask this child to do this, force it on the child, demand it of the child without negotiation, without conversation. The child doesn't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because you want them to. And that erodes their self-concept. That erodes their identity. All right? Sometimes, this is the part that I love the most about 0 to 5. They might feel frustrated when they're trying to learn a new skill, maybe like drawing or coloring, and they start to get restless. It is your place to say, no, 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 you're making progress. You're not, to encourage them that, oh, I like this, I like that. Point them to things that they're doing. So it encourages them to stay on task. Because when they're frustrated, they feel that they're not getting anything. So in supporting them, we're literally showing them that, oh, you're getting something. Now, I won't be able to go through individually for all, but I'm going to pick some that I highlight. 6 to 8-year-olds will have friendship conflicts in school. Friendship conflicts like this friend said this, that one said this, and there comes the first demand where your daughter will believe what people say, especially mean stuff. So when they come home, they heard what maybe a friend told them that they're very stingy and they're selfish, and they came home. Some parents will say, why would you believe? But the first step is to say, I'm going to walk this child through where they can learn what really happened. They're feeling bad. The emotion is giving them information about something that has happened. So we call them in and say, all right, come, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. What happened? What was the scenario? Let them play out that scenario and tell you what happened. This happened, I made this choice, I made that choice. And so your friend said you're selfish. Is it possible your friend said that because of da, 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 da? Your child should be able to handle hard conversations that reveal their patterns to them. But that is only possible when you are not judging them during the conversation. Is it possible that you could have done it this way? Is it possible that she meant it this way? All right. So if you had done it this way, what do you think would have happened? That process, remember what I said, mental strength and resilience is thinking through their circumstances. Your child can think through that circumstance, that, oh, this is what my friend meant. So it's not just about, she said this to me, it hurt my feeling, I don't want to be her friend again. Think through the situation. Could it be like this? And if the friend wasn't right, say, well, this story is not complete. Oh. There might be something your friend is not telling you. Do you want to have a conversation with her in school tomorrow to know exactly why this is so? These kind of conversations also help children identify when they're being manipulated by friends. When they're being manipulated by friends and say, if you don't want to be my friend, do this. So they come back and we say, all right, let's think through this. You do like her to be your friend. Yeah. Why do you like her to be your friend? She does this, she does that, she does that. Okay, what are the things you don't like that she does? Which ones are more, the good or the this one? Say, well, Did you also know that friendships are two-way? That means we can only be friends with people who want to be friends with us. If not, they're going to hurt us and hurt us and hurt us again. So, how do you feel? When she said she doesn't want to be your friend, you felt hurt. And what did you do next? I went and told her sorry. No, 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 no. We don't say sorry until we have thought through what is going on. Why did you say sorry? You didn't want her to be angry. We know we are not in this world to stop people from being angry with us. When people don't like something we did, we sit down with them and we talk about it. You're building mental strength in that conversation. So someone said, lately I've become so frustrated about the fact that my 12-year-old is always doing things wrongly, and I always make a big deal about her mistake. Thank you for reminding me to see the good in the mistake. If she was being playful, it means she's joyful, and your responsibility is to tell her there is time for everything. Princess, can you stop watching TV and finish this first? Because when you do this, it makes you make mistakes, put you in a situation where you feel bad that you're not being responsible. I don't want you to keep feeling that way. So let's find out what we're not doing right and make an adjustment. In that process, you've equipped with the ability to think through the circumstances that they find themselves in. Your 6 to 8 year old will deal with rules and authority. Such rules, such as your housekeeper telling her to go to bed at 8, and she has a problem going to bed at 8. And she might just throw a tantrum as she's going into bed. My mommy will not let me. Da, 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 da. And she may be doing that because she doesn't yet have the concept of time. So you sit down with her and say, okay, what time did you think it was when Miss Nancy said you should go to sleep? And she goes, oh, mommy, the sky was still bright. Is it possible that it was 8 o'clock? Okay, so why do we go to bed by 8? So the brain is rested, we wake up refreshed, we go to school happy and not clumsy. You started walking her through that. When they're around 9 to 14, I won't talk about peer pressure. Peer pressure means conflict of values. And why there's conflict of values is because your children have the dilemma, your princesses have the dilemma. Should I go with my friends? Right? Should I go with my friends or should I go with my values? I really want them to be my friends. And usually when kids are going through peer pressure, they think it's either or. It's either they're my friends or they're not. Or like this, it's either I go with the things they're asking me to do so that they become my friends. They don't usually realize that values are the map for friendships. But we shouldn't just tell them, choose good friends, choose good friends. We should walk them through what makes good friends. Friends who share the same values with you so that you're never under pressure to do something wrong. Friends who help you grow. So we are supposed to give them the food, we're supposed to give them the micro ingredients to think through their choices. One of the things I teach on the 10 over 10 Girl Squad is how to say don't keep bad company. How should the child know that the company is bad? You're not there, you don't know the stories. So you equip so that they can make those choices themselves. So I'm sure you're getting a hang of it. I've talked about friendship. So what about physical and emotional changes? When they start having crushes, mental strength is, mommy has equipped me with the fact that my body's changing. I'm going to have crushes on boys, but there are things I shouldn't do. Reacting to crushes is writing a note to a boy you have a crush. Responding says, I like him so much, but I remember that this feeling is temporary and is so intense I could make the wrong choice. And so I respond to it by not telling my friends or not telling him, but coming to have a conversation with my mother, who helps keep me accountable so that the decisions that I make amidst the crush are responsible choices. Let me end my slide. Let me go to the second to the last slide. Values are the map, they are the map for friendship, map. So if I'm trying to find a friend, I use the values map. If a core part of my value is honesty, I'm looking for someone that is honest. When I find them, the next step is, do they want to be my friend? And then we go on. So values map where I make friends. And these are things we teach our children. I want to add here that in order for us to teach our children to be resilient, we need to move from instruction type conversations to instruction type communication to conversation type communication, where children are learning why, what, they're expressing their thoughts. Homes where children can share their thoughts and have robust conversations, those children become mentally strong and resilient because along the line you have created neural pathways for how they should think about things You've shown them the pattern. When you make a mistake, you ask yourself, what did you contribute to this? What is the desired goal? What can you start doing? What can you stop doing? In the process, you've taught your child that pathway. So even when they find themselves in a new circumstance, they can step back and say, okay, I made a mistake. What did I do? What did I contribute? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? I can be better. I can do better. Mommy has told me that we can do big things. Now, for 15 to 17-year-olds are going to have pressure when they are at milestone exams. Even intelligent kids, they are scared of the exams. So, mental strength says, let's think through what it takes to pass these exams. We attend the classes, we read, we do practice tests, we use all kinds of reading techniques, but we have calm, we sleep well before the next day, and we walk into that exam hall having prayed up and put down what we have read down. We make sure that our handwriting is legible. Like when I'm working with kids, I like them to take responsibility and identify aspects of their lives that could cost them something, and they begin working on it. So, mental strength is saying, this is what it is. I will go to the exam hall. I will answer to the best of my ability. I will write legibly. And that means I will read well for my exams. I will take away distractions. So you're walking them through what this is all about. And then they're going to have relationship challenges. They're going to like a boy who probably sees the signs that she likes him, but he doesn't like her back. And in that moment, she'll feel rejected. She'll feel maybe she's not good enough. And so one of the things I started teaching my girls when they're around 11 is you don't like every boy. You will not like every boy that likes you. So it's not everybody that you like that would like you back. And one thing humanity has is the right to like someone or not. And you must allow boys exercise that right. You will not be everyone's type of girl. Therefore, you cannot go around with your shoulder down because a boy did not like you. Just because you're not his type, he is not the blueprint standard. He's not the gold standard where you say if he doesn't like a girl, then it's really bad. Nobody is the gold standard. Now, conversations like that prepare our daughters for when their interest is not reciprocated and they can understand. They don't need to go and audit themselves and start saying, what do I need to change about myself? They don't need to do all of that. And finally, when they encounter social injustice or inequity anywhere and unfairness, they can lash out. Mental strength is calculated response, not reactions. So, Coach Vivian, I've come to the end of my session. You're just here right on time. I was just looking at the time. I hope I wasn't crazy with the time.
No, thank you so much. That was very insightful and very relatable. I told you guys that you would have a lot to to think about after this session. Please, if you have any question, now is the time to start dropping your questions in the chat. If you have any question, now is the time to start dropping your questions in the chat. I'll wait for those questions. Thank you, Irene. Guys, go on Instagram, follow Irene at raising girls. .ng. Please, if you're watching, kindly screenshot your phone if you're watching on your phone, or take a picture of any device that you're using to watch this session and post it on your Instagram, on your WhatsApp. Share the link and let other people join. While I wait for your questions, I'll wait for your questions. So people are saying very insightful indeed. While I wait for your questions, I'll just share a video with us and then we'll come back, take the questions and some announcements. Don't forget that the next session, which is our final session, I'll be speaking on understanding children and adolescents' mental health. And you might be wondering, well, it's not my portion. Oh, mental health is a Western problem. Oh, do children struggle with mental health? I'd like you to come to that session and let's have a conversation around how you can understand the challenges that young people face, that children face with their mental health, and how you can support your child so that they can thrive, so that they don't come to that breaking point. So this is very insightful. Thank you, Mom Irene. I learned a lot. I listened to you. Yes, please, if your children are not in the squad, if your children are not in the squad, Please get them on the squad. Irene runs a program for girls that you can sign up your children for, your girls for. Irene, do you need to
Yes,
say something?
yes. A mother posted something and she said vulnerability is not mental strength. Actually, it is.
It is.
It's mental strength. For a child to be able to say, Mommy, I was embarrassed, is mental strength. It means they can think through what they're dealing with and articulate it. However, the vulnerability where other people can take advantage of them, that's not what we're talking about. But for a child to be able to say, Mommy, I felt so embarrassed. I said hello to him and he did not answer. They're thinking through their feelings, and that is mental strength. Because if they can think through their feelings, they can figure out what the problem is. All right. Someone else also said something here. She said that I missed something. Sweetie, I had to go on YouTube. A
All
mother
right.
said, so she just discovered that reaction is different from
Different from
response.
response. There's a question on the screen.
Okay, the response actually means that the child thought through what they wanted to do. Reaction is there's no thinking involved. You just lash out. But
Mm.
response, I sat down, I thought about what I wanted to achieve, and then that's calculated. Please explain values as the map of friendship. All right. So when I want to teach my children about friendships, I tell them, I use this illustration. I tell them that all humans are chameleons. We become what's in our environment, and everybody is influenceable. When I started out this session, I talked about how Coach Vivian supported me in getting to that place of mental strength. So, in spending time with Vivian and seeing how Vivian processes things, I started building that. Oh, it's not always the way I'm thinking about it. It could be more, it could be less. So, when I'm teaching children about friendships, I tell them we become who is in our environment. So, because of that, think about behaviors you want to build. Think about things you want to uphold. I want to be honest. I want to be confident. I want to be this. I want to be that. Now, those values determine anybody that possesses it because you're most likely to be influenced by them. You start to say, I'm going to look for people who have these values. And if they show that they want to be friends with me, I'm open to it because I like this. I want to end by saying this. There's a child in one of my daughter's classes that is an A-lister. And both of them are in my school, and that girl is an alpha. She's doing really well. So she and my daughter keep going first, second, first, second. One of the things I was able to do, I've been able to do, me and Vivian, I think I deserve an award on this. I raised my daughters to be comfortable with the success of their peers.
Yeah.
And so one of the things my daughter said, Mommy, I want to be closer to Deborah. That girl's head is on fire. And she started praying about it that they should match them to be seatmates so they can sit together. And so she said she wanted to see what her reading regimen was like. And they've gotten closer to each other. Today, when we were going out somewhere, she carried a storybook to give to that friend. So now she's navigating using the values that she wants. So she's
Mm.
looking for people who embody those values and trying to
Yeah.
associate. But the clause is they have the values and they want to be friends with me. They may have the values and don't want to be your friend. And so that removes them from the equation completely. So
Yeah.
Princess Vivian, I'm dropping off. Thank you so much for having me
Thank
today.
you. Thank you so much for having me. Someone was asking, are there any trainings for boys? Irene's husband also has a training for boys, raising
Yes.
boys to men, right?
No,
If
no,
I'm
boys
correct.
to kings. Boys to
Boys
kings.
Boys to kings, sorry. Boys to kings, yes. So if
Especially.
you're in our community, right, if you're in our community, please, if you stumbled on this video randomly on YouTube, make sure that you drop a comment, so we'll send you the link to join. If you registered to the summit, then it takes you into the community. Okay, I'll drop this in the chat very soon. So it takes you into the community, and what it does is that then you get access to further informations that we have even after the summit. After the summit, we don't just leave you to go. We have, for this summit, we have a 30 days implementation plan for you, where we create a package of resources, a package of day-to-day actions and instructions that you can follow, and weekly calls with myself to help you put all of these learnings into actionable steps that you can implement over the course of 2025, and at the end of 2025 see where you have come from just by attending this session. So we don't just leave you. Make sure you're in the community, right? Make sure that you're following, make sure that you're inside that community, because we have other support resources that we'll give to you at the end of this. And if you're in our email list as well, keep your eye on your email. Make sure that your email is that you move our emails to your primary email, so that when we send you an email, it doesn't go to your spam box, right? So, do we have any other question? My daughter had a similar experience. She wanted to be friends with an A-list classmate, but the classmates didn't want to be her friend. It made her feel bad. Irene, do you have any comment about that before we move?
So the thing about it is, I teach them that people have a right to not want us, and so feeling bad means that she's hot. She has a right to feel hot, but she needs to know she's not missing anything by not being her friend. She's not missing anything. So
Yeah,
because the feeling could be she's thinking about what she could have achieved if she was her friend. She's not missing anything. She can always find other people and other resources to support her. She can
yeah,
find the Khan Academy, places where she can read and take the classes she may have wanted to glean from that friend, but let her know she's not really missing anything, but that person not reciprocating the friendship interest.
yeah. So the thing about mental strength is that we also want to raise our children to be able to accept or face or navigate rejection, because
Yes,
in life a lot of rejection will come,
it
right?
must come.
You're watching Parent Summit Africa, you're seeing speakers, but I can tell you how many speakers who rejected my invitation to come and speak on this summit. It is rejection. I felt bad at some point, like, you know how you pitch your idea to someone and you feel like, we're doing this great work, please come and speak on this platform, and people outrightly will tell you no, and I don't do that shit, right? Pardon my word. so so rejection is part of life, and we have to equip our children to actually face rejection if it comes their way, right? So thank you everyone for joining, thank you for being part of this, and please don't go anywhere. Just follow the next link, and if you did not register and you don't have access to the link, just keep your eye on the YouTube channel. We're coming live for the last session, and if you're interested in joining us for the 30 days implementation plan, please make sure that you drop a chat in the community or you send us an email. And guess what, we have amazing resources for you. Everything you see on this screen right here will be given to you when you join the 30 days implementation plan. We have 10 courses, 3 ebooks, and you get access to me over a period of 30 days, not every day, please, weekly, weekly, a couple of hours a week, and we come and chat and plan and put our plans together for moving into the coming year, right? And how we can implement everything we're learning on this summit. So guys, thank you again. Thank you once again. Make sure you're in that community. Please say thank you to Irene for her time, for sharing her time, sharing her stories, sharing her experiences with us. Irene, thank you. God bless you. Follow her on Instagram. Follow her work. She does amazing work with girls. And see you in the next couple of minutes for the
Hello,
next
my name
session.
is Tochi Opara. This is my 8th year being a mom. And one day somebody said to me, I love the way you speak to your children like they're adults. Man, I laughed. But I can tell you for free that I wasn't always like that. In fact, as a first-time mom, I was living a life of default. But from the moment I encountered Dr. Vivian, enrolling in the Vivian Okoye Academy, and also attending Parent Summit Africa, things changed a whole lot for me. I became a more conscious and intentional mom. I began to understand exactly the way to connect and address the child I have in front of me. Like she always says, it's all about understanding the child you have in front of you. We just bonded better, and even to discipline. In fact, there are so many things I can outline, so many benefits that I can outline since I encountered Dr. Vivian. And now that the Parent Summit Africa 2024 is around the corner, you should register, because I'm sure you want to raise a mentally strong child.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vivian. Have been a great source of support and inspiration to me. Learning from you has taught me a lot over the years. You have truly made me a better father and parent for my kids and entire family. I took my first course with Dr. Vivian's Parental Academy in July 2021. That's Ultimate Parenting Bundle, and it was amazing. And that was after following her on Instagram for a while. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, ma'am, for all you do and for the impact that God is bringing to families through you. God bless you and fulfill His purpose for your life in Jesus' name. I look forward to this summit and I know that it's going to be a blessing to everyone. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Phoebe. I live in Nigeria. I'm a mom to 3 adorable children. My first encounter with Dr. Vivian and Parent Summit Africa was sometime in 2017, just when I was about joining the parenting journey, and I must say it has been very phenomenal. I like the fact that Dr. Vivian is very straightforward, very relatable in her classes. She gets to hold your hand through a journey. In 2024, I joined her Parenting with Calm challenge, and it was a wonderful challenge. I recommend all parents I know to Parent Summit and to Dr. Vivian's program, because they are programs that are designed to help you navigate through your parenting journey. Thank you.
Technology has transformed how children are raised today as compared to how we were raised in the past. Parents are now concerned about screen time, concerned about how children use social media or how their children interact with tech devices around them. My name is Frederick Namdi. I am a tech YouTuber and educator. My organization works with schools to offer digital literacy education to children, promoting personal well-being through technology. And it's quite an honor to be talking to you today, all thanks to Dr. Vivian. And I believe that we're learning so much from this online summit so far. I'm going to be talking about how you can boost your child's mental well-being and self-confidence using digital literacy. Now, I'm going to bring a scenario that I've experienced a couple of times in class. Now, in these schools that we work with, we usually ask that the children come with their own tablets or laptops so that they can be able to actually use their device and take it home and show their parents what they did in school. Now, there's this set that will come with theirs, and then there's this other set that won't come with theirs. And when you ask the people that didn't come, you hear two things, either of two things. My mommy said I'm going to spoil it, or I do not have. In the course of the class, we do even tell them to pair with the ones that have, but you notice a kind of response from the ones that did not come. They are more, lost in the class, or kind of feel intimidated by those ones that already has, because you see those ones that has, they are super excited, they are willing to do whatever thing you want them to do. They are just all geared up for the class. Now, there's another thing I noticed. Maybe we are teaching Canva design for using Canva to design any form of graphics, maybe birthday. Then we ask, how many of you have ever used Canva before? You see this particular child or children that will be like, yes, I've used it, my mommy taught me, yes, I know how to use it, I did this. Their interaction in class and their confidence in class when compared to the ones that don't know is always different. They are eager to ask questions, they are eager to answer questions. So you can see how keeping your child away from digital literacy or equipping them with a tech skill is already impacting their confidence in class. And of course, children, once they feel they don't know like every other person, it begins to enter into their mind. You should know that digital literacy is a must for your child, because it is going to help nurture these 3 essential life skills in your child. The first one is creativity. In creativity, if compared to how we were raised, if you want to know a creative child in the 90s, it's only children that can draw with their hands, like I used to draw on the ground, or mold things, or just do some, or go get straight A's in school. But today, a lot of children now have smart devices. If you're going to now test, a test of creativity is now on what children are able to produce using technology. So you don't want your child to be left behind while every